Hey guys, welcome to the Warriorz podcast. And today's guest I have is Nathan Ruff. He's a serial entrepreneur since the age of 12, and he's the CEO of a powerhouse company called Rabbit. So please welcome Nathan Ruff. So Nathan, I just want to start off by saying first, thank you for coming on. I know you're a busy man, but I'm super excited to have you on. And I want to first start off with a question about why did you get started with entrepreneurship so young at the age of 12? What was the reason for you to find the need or even just find that passion so quickly? What was it that inspired you?
Yeah. So first, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Always down to do stuff like this. I think busyness is just like something people get real prideful about. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm busier. It's like you suck at running a company if you're busy. Like that's just all that means.
Yeah,
Like, people
that's
who
true.
run good companies have time
Right.
because they need time to be creative. They need time to think ahead. They need time to manage fires that come about.
Mm.
So if you're always busy, you just suck at running companies. That's just like, it's like people's pride and joy. And it's like,
Right.
But to answer the question, yeah, there was no like magic moment or anything. It was, I didn't have any money. My parents didn't have a lot of money. My neighbor gave me a Ralph Lauren shirt for Christmas. I never felt quality like that before. It might've been the first new shirt I remember owning.
Wow.
Everything came from my hand-me-downs from my brothers. And it's not like we grew up in the projects or anything, but just my parents were frugal, and had to be.
Right.
And so, yeah. And I was like, oh, I want more quality like this. And nobody hires a 12-year-old. At the time I was 11. And, so I just went and found a way to make money, which in this case was watering plants. So yeah, there was no like, I always tell people I'm an amazing employee. There's a lot of people that are like entrepreneurs because nobody will hire them. I'd be an incredible like employee. I just don't know too many people that can pay me $500,000 a year. It's just like it comes down to like a price thing. Like, I started making six figures when I was about 16. So it just got really hard for people to be able to match my income. And so I just kept doing my own thing. But I'm not opposed to being an employee. Now I am because I'm so deep in everything.
Right.
But for it wasn't like this thing of like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It's like people called me an entrepreneur my whole life. I had no clue what it meant.
Right.
I was somebody who knew how to make money and build businesses. And then I later found out, oh, that's like an entrepreneur, I guess.
Right. I like that you said that you would be a good employee because, most people are like, oh, entrepreneurs could never be employees and this. But it's like, actually we have the best work ethic, especially if you're like an actual entrepreneur and you're actually doing your job and you're actually like being a leader and a CEO to your own business. They're very disciplined. They know how to get a job done and they're very much of a leader in their own roles and in their own industry and for their team. So I agree with you on that 100%.
All these big CEOs, all of them were like senior management that worked their way up to CEO over like 20 years, most of the time. So they had to learn to be employees. And like when you work, I don't run a big company, but my latest company, we've raised capital and other stuff like that. I've hired a legit executive staff. And it's true. You feel like an employee at the enterprise more than it's your enterprise most of the time.
Yeah, that's true. For me, at least, like when I'm running my business, I feel like, although they see me as the CEO or the, co-founder, whatever you want to call it, right? The title of just running the show, but I don't feel like that because in the end of the day, I feel like I'm one of them because I'm constantly working and constantly doing my job too and making sure I'm holding myself accountable as they're holding me accountable too, to make sure my job is, I'm doing everything I told them I was going to do. So you have to play both roles in a sense.
I would agree.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more. Okay. So you started off with plants, gave up plants. You said, I want to make six figures. So how did you get to that point? What a 16-year-old Nathan said to himself, okay, if I want to make six figures, I got to do this. What was that?
I never once said I wanted to make six figures.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there was never like now I do believe in like saying what you want to achieve and then achieving it, but there was none of that. Like, it was just like things happen, like I just learned to like provide value. So company at 12, company at 14, company at 16, really, companies are good. Business at 14, business at 16, 17, I have a small exit from the business I started at 16. 18, I'm like, all right, everybody who's rich is in real estate. That's where I'll go. Now, to give you a hint of like how stupid I was, I didn't know why people in real estate were rich. Like I never once thought to research that. I just was like, real estate rich, cool. I'll go get a real estate license, which is not equated to money in any way, shape, or form. And that's where I made, I guess, the best and worst mistake of my life, where I I saw 50 people in a room, and I thought these 50 people are going to need websites, they're going to need logos, they're going to need brands, they're going to need marketing, they're going to need advertising, because obviously everybody in here sees the power of branding and the power of looking unique and the power of like building empires. But here's the deal: 50 go to real estate school, 40 graduate, 20 go on to take their test, 10 go on to pass the test, 5 go on to place their license, 1 goes to sell more than 2 homes a year. Of that one that sells more than 2 homes a year, he has to value a brand, value a good logo, value good advertising, value like everything in and around advertising and brand and marketing. And, like from a good website to the car you drive to wrapping your car or whatever the case is. And that's, I would say that's like 1 in 500.
Right.
And so, it was a totally wrong guess. And I started an agency at 18, and I was a complete failure for several years. And I just kept grinding at it. And eventually I kind of broke through. And then, at 21, 20, I realized I was a complete idiot. So I started reading 100 books a year and just, changing my identity essentially. David Goggins talks about it a lot, but like, you just need to accept the truth, like he was an idiot. He had a 1.9 GPA. Like he was everything people told him he was, a loser that wasn't going to be anything. It's just the truth. But he used that to transform into the hardest man alive. And so, I didn't have that transformation story, but yeah, I just realized I was an idiot. I was like, all right, smart people read a lot. I'll read a lot. And so from there, I started realizing like, oh, I don't have a business. I have a job at my own company. And if I'm dead, then there's nothing here. I haven't built anything. I have a couple freelancers. I started working on building a real business. But ultimately I always knew that like, I didn't need 1-9 to be successful, which is the agency that I still own. I just don't run it anymore. Because it was just there to teach me things. It was just there to teach me business. I always said like, I didn't know how to write an email when I started my business. Like nobody taught me that. Nobody teaches you that. I didn't know what a proposal was. Like, you gotta think, I'm 18. I don't come from a rich family. I've never seen a proposal before.
Right.
People are like, hey, can you send us a proposal? And I'm like, on Google, like, what is a proposal? That's not a
God bless Google.
And so there's just like these words, but like, I can get you a proposal. Or even, I'm saying as soon as like 2 years ago, somebody asked me for a 1-page, and I was like, what would you like on the 1-page? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to put on here. But I still ask that question. Like people, I have a client, about $7 million a year in revenue. God has just really blessed his business, which is my way of saying like, I don't think he's done a lot. I think his business is just great. And so it's blown up. But I was like, we got to find what the KPIs are. And he was like, the what? I was like, key performance indicators, like
right.
He's 50 with a $7 million business. So like, you're always learning. But yeah, I just, I just accepted what was true about me and then went to go change that. But back to what I was saying, like, I didn't need 1-9 to be successful. I knew that, like, when I look at Ross Pro, who started his first business at 31 with a $1,000 loan and died with a $5 billion net worth in his late 80s recently, also ran for president, split the 2-party system, did a lot of really cool things that a lot of people have never done before. It's like, all right, most of these people are becoming billionaires and super wealthy, and they're like mid 30s when they start on that journey, and they finish it around 50 to 60. So I just knew that like this time was just to learn, and if I can make enough to pay my bills, that'd be great. But I need to learn how to hire people. I need to learn to fire people. I need to learn to raise money. I need to learn to like sue people. I need to learn to get sued, like so on and so forth. Like I just knew that like this is just some big learning experience that sets me up for something bigger when I'm like 30. And I ended up finding it sooner than 30. My next venture that I raised money for and have really stepped a huge leap in. But I was prepared not to find it earlier. I was prepared on just the learning journey and growing what I have now until God presented me an opportunity that I felt like I was called to pursue.
I love that. So you said that there's a lot you said, so I want to backtrack a little bit. First, you said that you started reading 100 books in a year because you realized that you just didn't know what you wanted to do. So explain to me what books, not necessarily you didn't know what to do, but you were looking to improve yourself in some way.
I just didn't know anything.
Right. So what were the books like? Which one would you say was the most influential for you and really inspired you to make the next move or to figure out the next move?
I don't think there are any like that. I think I just like, you look at all Malcolm Gladwell's books, highly interesting, super inspiring, and they just give you new perspective, and that's super valuable. You look at Ryan Holiday's books, which is like cool stories, tells you like very like ego is the enemy.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's an amazing book that really changed a lot for me. I used to take pride in my ego. It was like, like people talk about it, like how egotistical I was. And I was like, damn right.
Yeah.
And so it's like so funny that we like take pride of things that aren't good in our lives. It's like when people brag about how drunk they got, it's like, like, I don't like you spent a bunch of money and you harmed your body and you wasted a lot of time. Like this isn't impressive. Anybody could do this. And so, yeah, I would just look at books that would interest me. And still this day, I really love biographies, autobiographies. I like to read both. So I hear their perspective and hear an outside perspective around it. And then, in that you learn to take good, like you learn that everybody has their issues. Nobody's perfect. Like we love to put somebody in this special light, but like Henry Ford, I think is one of the most incredible men in existence. But at the same time, in every single one of his books, he talks about he doesn't like Jewish people. It's just, he's weird. He's like a Nazi. He's like legitimately a Nazi.
I did not know that. Oh my God. Okay.
Like he's written, like I think he wrote a book like completely, and it's like, guess what? To this day, I'll endorse him 100% because he's a great businessman that paid his employees well, built tons of factories, built homes. Yeah, like I'm not like, and that's the problem with this society. You just can't like, it's like, hey, it's pretty impressive that Donald Trump got $12 billion worth of loans. Like, let's look into that. Like, that is not an easy thing to get globally people to finance you.
Right.
And so
there's like, good in everybody, and there's strengths in everyone we should learn from.
Yeah, we just have this idea where if like somebody has like some bad social stance or whatever, like it's like people who don't eat at Chick-fil-A because they donate money to like a non-gay organization or whatever. Chicken's freaking good. They still pay their employees good. They treat their employees good. Everybody's friendly. Like, I want to help that business. I want to help McDonald's. Like, their stuff's nasty, like
right.
And so I get like the vote with your dollar. I get all of that. And obviously there's a line to this, but
right.
But it's this idea of like, oh, I can't be associated with you because of this belief. And it's just like,
you have to in this country, and with the amount of diversity and the amount of different opinions, you have to be open-minded and accepting of everybody's opinions. Because if you need to agree to disagree, like,
Yeah. And I about when it comes to gathering knowledge, like, that's where I would limit that, like, hey, when it comes to gathering knowledge, like there's people that I disagree with, I can gather things from, and I'll never agree with them, and I'll never agree to disagree or anything like that. But I can take what I perceive as good from their statement or from their knowledge or for what they published.
Right. There's certain things you're going to know that's going to be wrong to you and right, so that I agree with you on that 100%. Wow. So it seems like you've grown a lot from the time where you've spent all this effort putting all those 100 books, reading all those 100 books, learning from other people. Did you ever have anyone in your life that was influential, like a mom or dad or a grandfather? I wouldn't say, sometimes people don't have any role models to look up to, but was there anybody in your family or anyone you knew that was like a mentor to you?
I was just a really, really weird kid. There's just no, my best friend from age 5 on was my 70-year-old neighbor, Charlie.
Wow. Okay.
Who was an alcoholic, and still bought me Christmas presents, birthday presents, still taught me everything. He taught me about stocks, bonds, investments. Probably not a great human if I was to analyze his life, but at the end of the day, he treated me like I was his son or his grandson or whatever. And he like spoiled me and treated me, I'm 5 years old. I'm just like, he just let me watch him build a deck or something. Cause he was always building something. When you've worked hard your whole life, people get to retirement. Like, I don't know what to do. I'll just keep doing what I've always done.
Right.
Just always be building random things at his house. This is the third year you replaced your cabinets. Well, but
keeps himself busy.
Yeah. So, I had that guy when I was like, I guess 5 to, probably 15, 16. When I started regrouping golf clubs at a golf course I volunteered at, and it was a golf course where all the old people played. So I was around people that would say 70s to 90s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy named Everett. You know by his name, Everett. You don't meet anybody young named Everett. He was like 93, but there was a lot, there's a lot of wisdom that came from him. So I was just around a lot of old people. And so it was a very old soul. And I saw like, I kind of discovered like this, like old people do whatever they want. And I think that's where I got that mentality from, like, very much like be yourself, live in your own zone. I was never like trying to fit in. Like I never once went through a stage where I was trying to fit in with people. I was just who I was, and I was cool with that and comfortable with that. And I had people try to make me uncomfortable with that, but it lasted like a week. I was just always like very, very confident at like a scary amount. My parents were certain I was going to get killed if I went to a public high school. And that's what I was, I literally was not scared of anything. I mean, like there was like legit, my parents like were worried if there was something mentally wrong with me because I could not, like thought I couldn't sense fear almost.
Isn't that funny? People are afraid when you're fearless. That's so funny.
Well, I couldn't sense fear just because I was like, I'd never been beaten up before. So there's that stage of it. And then 2, I just felt so confident in everything and like always like, I'll always pull out the rabbit when I need it, like,
right.
So I was like quick and a fast thinker and everything else. So yeah, that was, in my life, I've had a lot of amazing people that have come at perfect times in my life. I mean, a couple that I still see to this day is like Jane and Bill. And Bill owned a bunch of piano stores his entire life. He's like 75. Yeah, 75. And so, Bill and I, we drag raced on the interstate a couple of weeks ago. Like we're very similar people, and he's 75. So I don't know, like there's like when, there's age doesn't really matter to me at all.
As it shouldn't. There's a lot to learn from different ages.
Yeah. So I've just always, I don't know, been able to find good in people. And God's just really blessed me with a lot of awesome people in my life that come at the right time. And I would say that with people who don't even like me, like I think that's a really good thing. When people fall really hard, it's because they don't have enough people like keeping them down.
Right.
Like there's this idea that like you don't want to talk crap about people. There's just these weird ideas I never understood. And it's like, look, if somebody screws somebody over, it's your duty to tell everybody they screwed you over so they can't do it to other people.
What do you mean?
So I think people have this idea that like if you get screwed over, that you become the better person, you say nothing at all and you walk away. And so I say actually, you're becoming the worst person. You're becoming the person that enables a Hitler type person. Because like if I see Hitler murdering people because of their race, my goal was to murder Hitler or to build a regime against that. Where other people's goal is like, oh, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm just going to do my thing, live my life, work my 9 to 5, take care of my kids, so I'm just very much like face the war, like do what is right. No matter what can happen from it, like do what is right.
I agree to an extent. I agree. I mean, obviously different scenarios like Hitler is a different story. So we won't even go into that topic, but other things where certain people hurt you for certain things or, whatnot. I mean,
like if somebody legitimately is trying to screw you over,
right.
You should tell everybody they tried to screw you over so that they won't do it again or so that other people are aware of them. Or
just confront them yourself,
Well, I mean, I just think if they'll screw you over, they'll screw other people over, and I care about other people not getting screwed over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you on that, of course. I mean, there's always many ways to handle things, right? Yeah. There's many, many ways to handle things, but definitely ignoring it is not one.
There was somebody who wanted to buy my company, and I didn't feel right about it. They just didn't feel right. And later on, I was approached by all these people. It turns out they owed people millions of dollars. They've been screwing over all these people over the U.S., and all these people had stayed silent about it.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So it's like they got scared. Like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go. Like, and it's this weird thing of like, because we tell ourselves that the bigger person just says nothing and walks away.
That's not true. I don't believe in that. I think you should always do something about it.
Yeah, and so yeah, and again, every scenario is different. Every scenario requires a different action. Where I stand, and the statement that I'm publicly making is take action.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying what level of action, but like don't
just do something about it. Yeah.
Don't just sit there and get taken advantage of.
I'm with you on that one. That one 100%, because Listen, you're going to deal with sharks. I'm from Jersey. Like, you deal with sharks all the time. When I go to New York, when I have business, have to take care of business over there. I mean, my uncles are in New York, so just like that mentality, it's like people will screw you over in business. If you don't do something about it, they'll do it again. And if it's not them, it's going to be somebody else, because it's going to keep coming, and that same problem, that same challenge is going to keep coming at you if you don't know how to fix it now. Like, do something about it now.
Yeah.
So anyways, but I agree with you. So then, okay, so you did all the books. Now, talk to me about Rabbit, because I know you're the CEO of Rabbit, and I want to understand a little bit more about that, if you can publicly talk about it, or at least say as much as you can about it, because I know it's coming out soon.
So Rabbit is a power solutions company, which means nothing. Like, it's just like, it's our way of like, nobody knows what we do.
Right.
we're B2C, and we eliminate the chance of your phone dying while you're out. So if you're at a bar, you're at a restaurant, you're in a new city and you're at a hotel and you need to go out and your phone's going to die. Like, we completely eliminate that via a network that we've created, essentially. And so a lot of people are going to overthink when they hear me give this answer, and they're like, what? Look, when we launch in September, you'll see everything and you'll be like, why didn't I think of this? It's not too brilliant, but it is a game changer.
Right.
And so during the course of the last, July 1 is when I started full time as CEO. And during the course of, we plan to launch September 15th. So in those 75 days, we've built an app that works on Android and iPhone, merchant dashboards for like our merchants, a dashboard for us. We have 250 places we're going live in. We've worked with 3 different manufacturers in China to see which one can make what we're wanting the best. So we've made massive progress, and it's been, it's essentially a small team that's working 80-hour weeks to get it done. And then from there, once we launch, you'll see, people see what we are and everything, but our goal is just to kind of take over. I mean, we're going to be everywhere. And
it's amazing.
So that's Rabbit. And that's kind of the most I can say right now.
So, well, okay. Well, talk to me about, since I can't ask too many questions, so I understand. Talk to me about why you called it Rabbit. Why Rabbit?
Actually, I can't quite reveal that.
You can't?
But I'll say this. I've run a design development agency for 7 years.
Okay.
And so we specialize in building incredible websites, incredible brands, visual branding, marketing, advertising. And we really just focus on design development. So anything design, anything development. We've built over 400 websites. So lots of experience. And
I've seen your work. It's very beautiful. So he does great work, guys.
I know how to build brands, and I know what people want. And so I look at if it's so hard not to real.
You don't have to say it.
Well, I look at Bird, for example.
Okay.
And it's like, if they name Bird Rent-A-Scooter, it would not be as successful as it is now.
Right.
And so if I named my company what we do, like 100 profile or something like that, I just want it work.
Right.
So I knew I needed a name. This is how I do every name: short, simple, easy to remember, made sense. Our devices are called Rabbits, and then the thing that goes inside our device are called carrots. You're giving a carrot to a device, or you're taking a carrot away from a device. And so, I looked in the trademark of everything, and we were good there, kind of. Long story there, but we were good enough. And yeah, so it was just like, I wanted something that's catchy and that sounds like a tech startup and sounds like it's already a thing. When people see our app, because I run a design company and everything, they see our app, they're like, oh, wow, this looks like, who did this? Like, how long y'all been in business? Like, it's also a name. When you say Rabbit, everybody goes, wow, I've heard of that before. It's like, I don't know, maybe you've heard of the vibrator, but that's not us, that's like the biggest thing in the market.
Right.
I know, because about 50 people told me after I announced our company name. I'm like, yeah, guys, I did a Google search. Okay. It's not like I just spent thousands of dollars on our name and be like, oh, but it's just so not in what we do, is I knew it didn't matter.
Right.
But yeah, I just with 19, it was short, simple, easy to remember. I was able to get the domain. So I wanted our business works a lot like Bird. It's an IoT company, which stands for Internet of Things, which just means it's a company that only works via internet. So like to unlock a Bird scooter, you have to scan a QR code, and that's sending data over 4G to the scooter to tell it to unlock. So because we're an IoT company and we're B2C, I knew I needed something that was like super easy to remember, super fun, a thing that you can play around with. You know, we can have people in giant rabbit costumes walk around and so on and so forth.
It's like
but
the
we really did
Energizer
it.
Bunny.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah. Energizer spent billions of dollars making people think bunnies equate to energy. So, you know, like over the course of 30 years, essentially,
Yeah.
there was a lot of great play there for what we're doing. Yeah. And, you know, we just wanted, it was just like, because our business is similar to Bird, it's not scooters or anything like that. It was like, all right, if you need to, if you go somewhere, you grab a bird. If you need to blank, you grab a rabbit. And that was like our idea behind it.
I like the name a lot. Obviously, you know, we'll find out more about it later. But overall,
have you seen our logo?
I have actually, because you showed me the website. Yeah, I know the logo. It's it's like the. Can I say it?
It's just a carrot. Yeah, it's just a carrot with a lightning bolt coming out of it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It was cute.
You can go to findarabbit.com to see, and we don't have anything there. We just have like, you can see the little carrot logo.
Yeah. I like the I'm a big fan of branding yourself with cartoons, and I don't know if have you ever seen Jonathan Dane's work or his website. He's another marketer. If you look up his stuff, he has like, you know, spaceships and stuff like that. And Spotlight. Is he what? I'm sorry?
I think he's in Nashville.
I don't know if he's in Nashville. Maybe.
What's his Instagram at?
Oh, I think it's Jonathan Dane, at Jonathan Dane, or it could be his name, Client Boost, because I know that's his company's name. It's funny. I didn't even know his I didn't even know how his website was, because we have the same thing. We're like all spaceships and stuff too. So I was like, oh, someone else has that as well. That's pretty cool. But no, overall though, but like I'm a big fan of those things. So I think your brand is gonna look super cool when you guys come out. I think it's gonna be very catchy and easy to remember, which is most important.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So talk to me. So when we last spoke, I really loved your your whole, the reason for what you're trying to do, your why, and maybe not your why, but your passion to creating all these businesses and what you actually want to solve. And it's like one of the world conflicts that we have actually out there. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like what's the point of life? Is like like I'm sure a question we've all asked, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like to glorify Jesus and to make an impact.
Right.
I guess that varies per person, but I think a lot of people do want to make an impact. And I'm just very serious about what it takes to make an impact. So like, when people are like, if that's one person, it was worth it. Like, no, I'm not doing shit for one person.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, like that doesn't get me going in the morning. Like, oh, I got to change one person's life, So for me, I want to ensure everyone in the world has access to fresh water. Because it's such an easy problem to fix. All you do is drill. Like there's literal water everywhere. You just drill. Sometimes you got to drill a lot further than you got to drill in other places, but you just drill.
Right.
And so there's an amazing organization, Charity Water, and where every dollar you donate goes directly to the cause. They privately raise money from people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Elon Musk to pay for their expenses and their staff. And they even reimburse the credit card processing fees. So if you donate $1, literally all 100 cents go directly to the cause. And so that's like, in my mind, that's the ideal nonprofit. It's just awesome. I'm fully behind what they're doing. And there's other, they develop tech that can tell you when the well breaks, because at one point, all 50% of all wells that were drilled were not working.
Wow.
And so these people have put together great initiatives, and stupid like a $2 part breaks and nobody knows what to do and nobody's been trained on it and so on and so forth. So they worked with Google on a $5 million grant to be able to determine when something breaks. And I guess it uses satellites to send a notification or whatever, and somebody goes and repairs it. So there are some challenges there. But ultimately, I think it will be done in my lifetime because it just requires, yes, it requires resources and staff, but it's not like it's cancer. Like we know how to solve it. We just drill.
Right.
And so I predicate kind of my goals around that. So it's like ensure the world has access to fresh water, provide so much value in the world, I become a billionaire, run for president 2052 and win. So like those are my three goals, and kind of everything's predicated around this goal. And like the president thing, I'm just so thankful to live in America, and I just want to do my duty and run for president. Like
it's a challenge, but I'm sure you can do it. You look like you can. You definitely have the confidence and
but I'm super
skills.
against any career politician. Like I just don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. I just believe in people doing good things, building real things where they work for somebody, whatever, and then giving back to the community. By running and by and it's not this like that they spent their whole life and they got political science majors and they they're all lawyers, and it's just like that's just not not our founding fathers. It was not their vision. And when I think they were pretty brilliant people. And I in some part I agree with Joe Rogan's stance, which is like if they came back and were like whoa, you haven't changed one thing. And I agree with that like 5%, but it is this thing of like I know for a fact nobody like career politician is not the goal. And when people talk about how they're not career politicians like AOC, but they got in at 31, it's like, well, now you're going to be a career politician.
Right.
Like she's not going to leave and go back to bartending. Like she's going to be on for the rest of her life, So it's like, I know like you're against the system, but like you pretty much graduated college and then went in and now you're going to be there forever, just like everybody else. You're just younger than everyone.
Right. We need presidents who are experienced, who care about making a difference, and like you said, like their mindsets for the people and how we can improve the country in many ways.
Yeah, and it's a tough job of the simple sense of that like government sucks at doing everything. So it's a hard answer to be like, hey, actually government's going to do a lot less of things and that's going to make things a lot better. Like that's not doesn't win elections, but that's just like it's like kind of truthful, like,
unfortunately.
And we can go into a bunch of social issues and everything else, but it's like people are like, what are your thoughts on gay marriage? It's like, I don't think government should be in marriage. If you're going to marry your cat, I don't give a damn.
Right.
That's not government's role.
There's so much we could talk about the government. I don't even want to go there because it could be like a longest conversation, but I'm with you in many ways. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just very libertarian in my beliefs. Not extreme libertarian, just slightly.
Right. I mean, we all have our views, and I mean, if our intentions are in the right place, that's what matters the most. And if we can act on our intentions and do good, that's amazing. So we just need more people doing that exactly. And I think the country, the world would be a better place, so it is what it is.
Maybe. But I think more people just doing their job, showing up to work on time, doing what they're asked to do. That is what makes the world a better place. No politician in DC.
Yeah, coming from Washington, D.C., that's really hard to say right now. They're probably listening on this. Anyway, so those are some big, huge goals. I mean, what would you say you're doing right now to at least the first goal, which is trying to solve the water issue? What are you doing currently to kind of to make that happen at least?
Yeah, so like everything helps you. All those goals help each other.
Right.
If you find a way to ensure the world has access to fresh water, you'll probably make $1 billion.
True.
You make $1 billion, you're probably gonna have pretty good access to how you solve this issue and how you run for president.
Right.
For president, you're pretty good at both of these things. So they kind of all do correlate in a strange way. So for me, it's just like, look, everything matters. For example, like I told people, and they can still do this. Like, if you want to know what rabbit is, you donate to charity water, over $10, and I'll send you a link to what rabbit is. So I like people want to know all the time. People are kind of, what's it rabbit? Well, donate to charity water, and I'll tell you.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, and I'm always just like, I'm always just predicated on thinking ahead as a company. Like, all right, what can we do with some of our profits? Oh, cool, we can spend $10,000 and build a well, so on and so forth. And then like being a billionaire, that's just providing value. So I continue to build businesses that provide value.
I love it.
And then running for president, like that's I don't know what the world's going to be like in 30 years. So that's just my big goal that I put on everything. There's 2052 on everything I do. And that's just to kind of just like, it's the answer, like, in Trump, it's like, what are you going to do? Make America great again. Well, what are your policies? I'm going to make America great again. What do you do if you're not going to win? I'm going to make America great. Like, it's just like the same. So it's like,
so it doesn't matter what he gets. It's like, he's going to keep focusing on that one goal.
Yeah. And so like, I don't give any political answers or anything. I just said 2052, that's the year, you know.
Right.
And then away from that, right into my focus, which is building businesses that bless their employees, bless the world, and bless myself. Like, those are the three things I'm trying to do with the company.
I love it. I love it. So you're going through this journey, and you're currently, you know, obviously you're in it. What are you doing to, because like this is a Warriorz podcast, correct? So we're focused on warriors, not superheroes, but warriors. So these modern day guys who are dealing with a ton of personal issues, internal issues, external issues. What are you doing to maximize yourself and master yourself in this journey to become an unstoppable warrior?
Mental toughness is crucial. I try to do something I hate all the time. So like I ran a marathon with no training. So I just showed up and ran 26.2 miles.
Oh my God.
And it was brutal. It wasn't easy.
And I died. I'm just kidding.
And I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair. So I literally couldn't walk after it. I mean, I was like literally carried home.
Oh my God.
And so, yeah, I think the denying of self, and then I'm always trying to find people that don't like me. I know that's so weird. Like I'm always trying to find people with different perspectives, different beliefs. I travel the world a lot. I'm very open in my mistakes. I'm very open in my biased thinking and you know, just things about life. So me, it's like, if everything's out in the open, nobody can do anything, right? Like there's nothing they can hold against me. I'm not hiding anything. So I have that like big advantage. And then I'm super strategic about what I'm doing too. So kind of both worlds of that. But yeah, I mean, like ultimately, maybe the greatest warriors are the people that never think they're warriors. You know, and so there is something to be said about that. I'm focused on doing my job. And so my job is to lead a company. It's to love myself. It's to love my neighbor. And so I just focus on that, and I'm very real about where I mess up. I'm very real about when there's a crackhead annoying me and me just walking away when I should just spent time seeing how do I help this person? You know, how do I save this person? So yeah, I mean, as a warrior, you know, I don't know, like how do you define warrior, right? Like I got a bunch of guns. Am I warrior because I can kill people? Like, no, like, you know, like, so it's all like, what is actual, how do we define warrior? And then from there I can maybe give a better answer. But, you know, right now I'm focused, on just doing my job. And I don't let little things bug me. Like I don't let like, there's a loud noise. Like,
just like as we're talking about warrior, good we go. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I just focus on, like following my heart and what I think I should do. And so I'm not opposed to conflict. I'm not running away from anything. I just kind of stand in the moment and I walk forward. And I don't live in fear. And I, you know, like I had one of my mentors was sued from one of his investors. This is like 20 years ago. And so everything I always do in my company, he's like, well, I mean, you know, that doesn't make your investors happy. They'll sue you. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, it's not going to happen. You're just jaded because it happened to you.
Right.
And so I don't know. I think I would need a better definition of how you define warrior to give a better answer.
Well, actually, there is no answer to that question. It's like a true answer. It's what that answer is to you. That's why I always ask it, because I'm curious because when someone defines what a true warrior is to them, it allows the audience and just, you know, me and yourself just to truly understand what type of person they're looking to strive to be or they are, right? To me, a warrior is simply a character in your mind, and it's almost like that person you see yourself being, and you're always chasing that person, if that makes sense. Like, have you ever heard of Matthew McConaughey's speech when he won an Oscar, I think one time, and he was like, the person he's chasing is the guy that he's going to be in 5 years or in 10 years, and he's always chasing that guy because that guy's always getting better and better every year. So he never catches him, but that's the point. It's the journey and the chase that he's enjoying. So that self-mastery and that continuous of of improving oneself and in a loving and most passionate way could be a definition word, but it's what it is to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's just like, I'm just about doing my job. So I know it's like, it's my duty to be able to support myself. It's my duty to be able to support my neighbor. It's a duty to be able to support my wife. Maybe it's not my duty. Maybe it's my choice to support my neighbor, but it's my duty to support my wife. It's my duty to support my kids. It's my duty to be the most well-rounded human I can possibly be. That's my duty.
Right.
It's my duty to stand up for what's right. It's my duty to stand, like, to talk about when something's wrong. And so, like, I just think, like, hey, there's simple rules to life. So, like, hey, it's my duty to make my bed in the morning. There's just like things that is like, hey, this is my responsibility. I'm going to own it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to accomplish it. I'm going to crush it.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's a very fearless answer. So that's awesome. One last question. I promise I won't hold up too much of your time. What's one truth you found in your journey that you would like to share with us? I know it's a big question. I'm sorry. So if you need a second.
So, I always think, like, I hate when people say, like, what's your truth?
Right.
Because it's like, well, what if your truth is that all humans should die? Like, that's not a good truth. That's not real. Like, I know it's just because we were talking like Nazis and everything, and I got sucked into that. I'm using that like throughout this podcast. You might hear me for it. I don't know his that thoughts. You can maybe Google this, but so there's this thing of like, I hate this live your truth. No, let's live what is actually truth. We need to define what truth is. Mm-hmm. And so, I think there's lots of answers I could give here. Probably the answer I'll give is that you have meaning and your life matters. Mm-hmm. I think there's just not enough people that actually believe that they're making a difference. And maybe it's like cocky of me to believe I'm making a difference. But like the lady who makes me a smoothie in the morning makes a huge difference in my life. Because that smoothie enables how well I do in meetings. Those meetings enable how well my company does. How well my company does enables how many wells we build. How many wells we build, there's like has a direct correspondence to how many lives we save. Mm-hmm. So that's why I like this whole class about doing your job. Like realizing that no matter where you're at in life, no matter where God has you, no matter where you're at on your journey, you have a purpose. Like you are valued, and that there is a plan for your life, and like that what you're doing matters. Mm-hmm.
I love that because it's true. I think it's very true. I mean, if more people understand their responsibility in life to themselves and to others, because their life matters, right? And have the understanding that if they were able to achieve their highest and fullest potential in whatever they choose to do, right? Whether it be making people smoothies every day or running a business, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing because you're in a sense, what you're doing is equally needed and wanted and important because you're changing people's lives in different ways, but you're changing their lives. That's the point, Yeah. And it's doing your job.
It's finding out what you want out of life. I mean, that's, the biggest thing I haven't talked about this show, but it's the biggest thing I talk to everyone about, which is finding out what you want in life. Mm-hmm. I want to be president. It's insane, truly insane. I'm not saying anybody should walk down that path. I'm telling people to be a billionaire. I've been telling them that for years. Mm-hmm. Like I bit off like a tiny piece of an enormous pie, so I'm not like I get up at 3:30 a.m. I go to bed around midnight. Like I live a pretty unhealthy life when it looks at like what I'm trying to accomplish and how driven I am towards things.
Right.
So I'm not telling anybody to follow my path and do what I do, but I'm saying find out what you want out of life. I know what I want out of life.
So it gets you up every morning. It's what keeps you up.
I have an answer to everything because I know what I want out of life. I don't have an answer to everything because I'm just bullshitting my way through life. I have an answer because I've actually thought through what I want out of life.
So this is important because people in their 20s and even younger than that, or even in their 30s or 40s, some people just don't know. They're not clear. What you're saying here is nothing new. It's very simple, but it's not easy, and that's clarity.
Think it's easy. I don't think they care enough.
It's funny that you say that because there's a lot of people who probably really do care, but just don't know how to figure out or trying to figure it out, and it's not hitting, it's not clicking. I remember
if somebody hates bagging groceries at Kroger, you know what they can do? They can quit Kroger and try another field, try another job. Mm-hmm. If they're doing that, they can try something else. If they do that, they can try something else. Mm-hmm. If
So you're recommending them to try everything almost, or like anything they find that excites them in some
well, I'm
way.
saying find what you want out of life.
Right.
Like in the same way I tell people, like, look, if your favorite thing to do is drink alcohol all day, that's one, a problem, but two, you should just be honest about that, what that problem is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so don't mask it. Don't be like, no, I just like to have fun on the weekends. Like, no, you're an alcoholic. Like just
Right,
find
right.
what you want out of life. So if you hate working at Kroger bagging groceries,
Mm-hmm.
okay, why do you hate it? Because I don't feel like I'm making a difference. Okay. What do you think is making a difference? I don't know, people that like clean up litter on beaches. All right. So why aren't you on a beach cleaning up litter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't live near a beach. All right. Why do you move to one? Well, I don't have the money. You can't live out of your car. I don't want to live in my car. Well, then how, like have you ever tried it? No, I don't know. Maybe try it for a week, get a gym membership, shower there.
Right.
Maybe on the beach, you find some dude's like, hey, that's awesome. I want you to lead my organization that cleans up beaches. It pays $100,000 a year. You just made $20,000 a year at Kroger. 5x, and you're doing what you're like 5x increase in income, and you're doing what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's just a lot about like defining what you want out of life, like finding what you want and going and getting it. For example, like I want a family, I want a wife, I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
Ladies, he's single. Okay.
for the last couple of years, I've spent a lot of time becoming like the best version of myself I can, and going on a lot of dates. And because I want to find out like who's the type of person I'm going to marry. Like, okay, here's my Enneagram. What kind of Enneagrams do I go great with? Like probably like Tim Ferrissing it a little too much, but it's because like I know what I want. Like I know that I want a wife. I know that I want kids. I know that I want a family. That is very valuable to me. So I devote time and effort and energy to that because that matters.
I like what you said there. One of two things. One, because you're telling people, hey, in a way, I'm going to simplify it, and you obviously can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but this is what I'm hearing. You're just telling people, find what excites you, then start doing it. And if it's a lot of things, start one by one. Spend time doing it. If you don't like it, go to the next one. And most importantly, which I think is the reason why people, on top of the excuses they make, why they're not moving forward with their passions or trying to even pursue them, is because they're so romantic about the outcome. But in reality, if you really dig deeper on why you want that outcome, it's really what most people end up saying is because they want to be happy, right? They want to be happy and they want to be living their best life, right? And if that's the case, any passion that you really put time and effort in is going to get you there. And some people are like, oh, well, it's funny. I was having the same conversation with my coworkers, like one of my coworkers today, and I was just talking to him about this. And I was like, she was saying, oh, I have so many passions, this. And she goes and she's like, but I just have so many. I can't just like, I can't make that big leap enough and just change everything for just that one passion. I said, why not? Well, she said, because I just like so many things. I don't know if it can be that. And I told her, well, how would you know if you don't just try? It doesn't take you a year to figure it out.
And this is only work we're talking about, like this is like, my big thing is like, I think you're an idiot if you go and get a marketing degree. It's just the way it is. Change my mind. I just think you are.
You're talking to one. It was the biggest mistake of my life. So yes.
And so what I have the most passion for is somebody who's like, you know what? I'm going to go be a welder because it makes $100,000 a year coming out of a 2-year school, and there's millions of dollars in scholarships because nobody wants it because it's real work. And because I'm going to make so much money, guess what? I'm going to be able to buy a house, buy a puppy, take care of my wife, take care of my kids. Like it's like ultimately like finding out what you want in life. It doesn't mean that you love what you do every day. It could just mean that it enables you to do all the things you love. Like what if being a welder 9 to 5 allows you to have the boathouse you want, allows you to like take care of your wife, take care of your family, send your kids to college, go on family vacations, like maybe it's these things of like finding out what you want out of life. And sometimes your career just enables you to accomplish what you want in life. It doesn't mean you love your career.
Yeah. And I mean, it can go both ways.
It's work for a reason. Like it's, like it's called work for a reason.
Right. I mean, and listen, and to me, to be honest, with me at least, this is the way I look at it. It's money comes anyway. Whatever you want to do and whatever you work hard in, and you move up to whatever, if it's moving up a level in a corporate company or in a position, whatever, or even just running your own business and growing, you're going to make money either way. So my thing is like, okay, if you're going to make money either way and that's the type of income you want, why don't you do it with something you love and you're passionate about? But mostly not because of not focusing on the financial success that you're trying to achieve, but rather the process that you're doing. If you fall in love with the process, you're always wanting to grow, and your income will just grow because of that. But it's understanding that the process is what you should fall in love with. Because if you fall in love with the process, your passion, in the passion that you actually enjoy, right, then comes your purpose.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say,
But everybody's journey is different. So
there is a lot of power in the person that says like, "Hey, I'm gonna go be a plumber because the world needs more plumbers."
yeah,
And
but
while they're doing it, they find their love and their passion for it. Like they're creating their love and their passion because they're healthy.
they can
Some people are
listen.
going to be unhappy in everything they do because they're unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't eat right. They don't drink enough water, whatever the case is. They don't run, they don't work out. They have mental health issues that are untreated, so on and so forth. Like some people are just going to literally be unhappy at everything they ever do for the rest of their life because they don't know how to work on the person in the mirror.
Right. That is true. I mean, listen, that's where you have to start before anything is starting with you and fixing
100%.
that, because that's where clarity comes anyway. It's not business problems, it's personal problems.
Yeah.
So that's what I always say.
Yeah, like when people are freaking out at you, it's not because like you did anything wrong. It's because they don't know how to handle anger.
Yeah, they don't know how to handle situations that are like not common. So it's true. I mean, I'm very big on looking at people not as human beings, but looking at them as souls. And when you look at them as souls, you understand what level they're at in life, and not meaning that their level is any lower than you, but just understanding they're at that level. And that means that if you may be good at one thing and they're not, you teach them, but you don't yell at them, you don't fight them, because you look at them as a soul and they're just learning. So
yeah, we're
in
all
a
on a
spiritual
journey
way.
called life. We're all kind of lost, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We're all just going.
Basically. Well, I mean, Nathan, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. You've given a lot of wisdom, and I'm actually really excited for you in your journey because you have huge goals, and I love people with big goals because they're the ones who are going to achieve them, right? Big dreamers, big goals, better life, and a better future for everyone else too. So, I mean, you are a future, so I only pray and wish you the best, because the future will only look brighter for you and for the rest of the world. So thank you for
having me on. It was really good.
Yeah, of course. And one last question: where can we find you? Just so my viewers can hear it.
NathanRuff, as in Frank. My mom used to say that on the phone all the time. It's Ruff, RUFF, Frank. And it's like now I'm like find myself repeating it. It's so annoying. And then the only social media I use is Instagram, Facebook. Only my friends are on Facebook. And a lot of them still aren't. Like, you know, people like have all these people on Facebook, and like it's like literally people that I only hang out with are my Facebook friends. So it's like a small group of people that are like my Facebook friends.
Right. Keep it personal anyway, right?
So, but Instagram is just like, you know, it's just there. The Nathan Ruff. I post a bunch of crazy stuff. It's designed to be that way. It doesn't mean that's who I am. It just means that I'm good at marketing. But yeah, NathanRuff.com will redirect you to my website, and there you can see a bunch of stuff and a bunch of ridiculous things, and maybe you like it, maybe send me an email. I'm cool and down for whatever.
Awesome. So you guys, you heard it from him. So if you need anything, you have any questions, reach out to me, reach out to Nathan, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them. Nathan, once again, thank you. And it's been a pleasure having you on.
Of course.